Hi, hello. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute, but hi. Um, Welcome to my channel. My name's Ebony, and today I figured I would do the mid-year book freakout tag. I'm not normally a tag girl, but it has been a while since I've posted a video. I'm going to go into detail about where I've been, everything like that at the end of the video. So if you're just here for the books, here for the tag, we're gonna get into it. The first question is, best book you read so far? I always feel so awkward when I do tags. What is wrong with me? I have two contenders, and the first one being Assembly by Natasha Brown. I am a huge fan of fragmentary writing because it reminds me a lot of poetry in the sense that I have to piece, as a reader, I have to sometimes piece together bits of the narration, or I kind of like that separation of narration. And especially for Assembly, I felt like it just really aided the overall story because she feels very disconnected from herself. And if you're unfamiliar with what Assembly is about, it's about an unnamed Black woman living in London who is working in like a financial firm, and she is on the come up in her career, fighting to get to the top, but she feels very conflicted. So I just really love that book because there was just something so visceral about the writing. Like I said, I'm a fan of very sporadic, intentional, sparse writing. So Assembly was that for me. And second favorite book, I know I'm supposed to choose one. I can't. Like, does anyone else, when people ask you like, hey, what's your favorite book? Or hey, what book are you reading? Like your brain just goes blank. That's what's happening to me. But my second favorite book, of course, my ultimate icon, Mary Oliver. I read Upstream recently, and I'm putting it in my favorite book because I've been in the hugest writing funk slump, just not really in the mood to write, and Upstream really invigorated my not motivation, but just like my appreciation of writing as a form of storytelling. And Upstream is a collection of essays written by Mary Oliver, as she is quite literally walking upstream a lot in the woods. She muses on nature, like always, in the human condition, but there are also essays within the collection in which she fixates or focuses and further dissects her favorite writers or very prominent writers. For instance, there is an essay on Walt Whitman. There is an essay on Edgar Allan Poe, which I really enjoyed. I'm a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan, so I was eating it up. And yeah, it's just cool to see like your favorite writer reference their favorite writers who you're also cool with, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was a blast. So definitely recommend Upstream. Best sequel I've read. I do not read any sequels. I read mostly literary fiction, poetry, and memoirs. So, but I guess I could throw in Either Or by Elif Batuman. I've read both The Idiot and Either Or pretty much close together. Enjoyed The Idiot, but I did find it to be pretty rambly at times, and I felt like a lot of it was unnecessary, so it wasn't my favorite. I much prefer Either Or, and they're both following a young girl who's attending Harvard, and Either Or focuses primarily on Celine, who is the main character, and her decision to either live a life that's aesthetic or morally correct. That's the whole point of the book. And it's interesting because she is a writer, and like there's a theme here. I love a book where the main character is a female writer. I eat it up. Female writer living in a city, having existential crises. Just, it checks all the boxes because same, you know, like that's me. So yeah, Either Or was definitely fun. We just follow Celine through her second year at Harvard. She decides to major in English, and I just really appreciate how she analyzes literature to make sense of her life, which is very philosophical of her, and also something that I can relate to as well. But Either Or was like a more mature departure than The Idiot, because in The Idiot she felt very much like an idiot. She's just very new to the world, very naive about a lot of things, about relationship, about love, about communication. and in either or you see her trying to reclaim some of that agency and use that as content for her writing and her own story, which is really, really fun. New release you haven't read yet but want to. I would be crazy if I did not mention Lapvona by Ottessa Moshfegh. We all know, like, if you have watched my channels, I have book reviews. Every time I read an Ottessa Moshfegh book, I dedicate an entire video to it and I go off in the review. I don't know. I think she's very interesting. I'm not like a fangirl, but I'm very intrigued by her writing. A lot of people love Ottessa Moshfegh. There's been numerous articles that have come out recently. Even Ottessa Moshfegh was like, you guys need to chill because I don't need a fandom. Like, I just think she's interesting and I want to be in the know because I'm nosy. And I hate feeling like I don't know what's going on, you know? Most anticipated release for second half of 2022. I literally don't know. This is so bad. I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, actually, I'm lying. I recently read Devotion by Patti Smith. Absolutely loved it. I'm going through this whole thing where I'm reading books on writing by writers. So I read Patti Smith's Devotion, which is why I also read Upstream by Mary Oliver. If you want to have a video of like my books on writing that I'm kind of using as a curriculum or like a course to get me back into the writing mood, please let me know. But yeah, I said all that to say I believe Patti Smith is dropping a new book this year, so I'm excited to read that. I just really got into her writing recently. Biggest disappointment of the year for me would definitely have to be Priestdaddy by Patricia Lockwood, and let me explain why. So my entire life up until college, I was in a Christian or Catholic school setting, and I'm very, very familiar with like the type of lifestyle and things like that that entails, and I thought Priestdaddy would be so funny to me. If you don't know what it's about, it's Patricia Lockwood recounting a time in which she and her husband had to go move in with her dad, who is literally a priest, but he's just like not the model example of what a priest should be. And I thought it would be funny, but the humor was just not it for me. I did not gel with the humor at all. We were not here. So that was really disappointing because I was just so hyped to read it and I thought I would really, really love it. Humor in books is not a thing. When I'm reading, I want to be devastated. I want to be emotionally distraught. Happy occasionally, that's nice to have balance, but I don't know, I just like more like reflective, deep, philosophical reads, which is just so annoying of me. New favorite author, I guess I could say Elif Batuman, Elena Ferrante, of course. I read The Lost Daughter this year, absolutely love it. I'm also having an Awkaeke Emezi moment, I'm not gonna lie. Those are some authors that I'm really feeling. Newest fictional crush, I don't have any. Oh, actually, I guess speaking of You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, I'll mention one of the love interests in that book, which is a limb. And the reason I say that is because he's a celebrity chef. And if it's one thing about me, I love eating. And literally the dream is to have someone cook for me all day. So that's why Elena is my fictional crush. Newest favorite character. These questions are really redundant to me because I'm just saying all of the same books. But I would say Celine, just because like I said, she's a writer. I feel like her internal monologue is very, very funny and just very spot on, and I've felt and I can relate to her in a lot of instances. Book that made you cry. I haven't cried once. I'm an Aquarius. It takes a lot to make us cry. I haven't cried. I think the last time I cried at a book was last year sometime. I don't even remember which book it was. A book that made me happy. I guess a book that made me happy would be Upstream, for reasons I've said before. This is so boring. I'm so sorry because I'm just saying the same things over and over again. Favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen so far this year? Does Batman count? Because Batman's in the comics. I read The Lost Daughter. I still have not watched the movie yet, so I'll say I'm anticipating on watching the movie for The Lost Daughter. I also have not seen the Conversations with Friends adaptation because I'm just like, not that I'm not interested, but Conversations with Friends is one of my favorite books, and I feel like the expectations are so high, and I've seen so many mixed reviews on the show about it, so it has me terrified, and I don't want anything to ruin my safety bubble of how much I love conversations with friends. Like, I don't want anything to damper that. Favorite review you've written this year? I don't really write reviews. Most beautiful book you bought this year? I have been buying a lot of books and not really reading them, which is a problem. I'm also a sucker for a good cover, but I'm gonna go with Mona is my favorite book cover. One of my favorite book covers of all time, just because like everything about it is so good. I really love the cover of Cultish because I have a thing with UFOs. That's why I still have my copy of Homesick for Another World by Ottessa Moshfegh, because it has a UFO on it. And I am a lover of all things space motifs. What books do you really need to read by the end of this year? Too many to name. My TBR is out of control. But like I said, I'm prioritizing books on writing written by writers. So to name those, Letters to a Young Poet, I want to read this year. The Elena Ferrante, I want to read this year. There's another book called Bodywork that I also want to read this year. Non-writing related books that I want to get to this year are Freshwater by Awkaeke and Emezi. Weather by Jenny Offill. I really love Department of Speculation, and I've bought Weather first, and I just feel weird because I switched the order in which I read them. Honestly, I'm a mood reader, so whatever I have is what I'm gonna read. Like, I'm not even gonna kid myself. I've been trying to make TBRs to myself to be focused a little more on like reading more consistently, because I haven't as of lately. Like, I've just really been allowing my mood to dictate what book I want to read. 5 months of the year left, and I just don't have anything that I'm like, I need to read this right now, because my mood is just vibing. So that's that. My camera was overheating, so I had to turn it off, but I'm back for the life updates. So yeah, I have not posted in 2 months. Within those 2 months, I quit my job and I completely switched career routes. So initially I was working in field of physical therapy, chiropractic, and now I switched over into education. So yeah, I've been adjusting to like a new work schedule, a new work routine. Also, I've had like family here and just so many things. And truthfully, when I get thrown out of a routine, it takes me a minute to bounce back. Like, it truly takes me a minute. So I've been adjusting. Thank you so much for your patience. I really, really appreciate it. That hopefully explains my absence, but all good things. Thank you for rocking with me as always. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have been doing well over the past 2 months since last time I've seen you. And let me know what you're reading this summer, and I will see you very soon. Bye.
I was like, yo.